Good morning, everybody. Thank you for joining me this Sunday morning for another episode of Messages of Hope. When you pop on, please say hello to me. That way I'll know if my settings are working because apparently last week, during a different kind of live, not for Messages of Hope, the chat settings weren't set correctly. And so people are talking away at me, but I missed it all. So, and I just thought that nobody wanted to talk. Anywho's, but I'm here and the settings should be right. And so you should be able to chat. And the reason why this is important is because I'm going to be asking you some questions throughout this presentation. And I want you to engage. I want you to share your thoughts and feelings, your experiences. Okay, so that was my cat. I just wanted to let you guys know that I am broadcasting from my living room. I do not have a production staff, a cameraman, a studio, or anything like that. And so just about anything could happen here. And that just kind of lends a little authenticity to the whole situation. Also, I want to let you know that it's snowing again. And so if you lose me during this live feed, it's probably because I've lost Wi-Fi or I've lost power or I've lost both. I live in a very teeny tiny town in the very backwoods of Colville Forest. So anything can happen there too. So everything impacts the situation, but I'm here and we're going to talk and we're going to get started. So I want you to just settle back and I hope you got yourself a good beverage and have some nice music going on in the background, maybe a candle or something, and just ease into your Sunday morning. Cheers to you, my cup of tea. I put it in a ceramic cup this morning, so hopefully it'll stay hot during the entire broadcast. So, as with all Messages of Hope's presentations, we're going to start with an opening prayer. So just go ahead and close your eyes and allow your body to relax and just be in this moment. Turn off your phone and just give yourself permission to just hang out with your spirit team and to learn something new perhaps, or add something new to the whole conversation. That'd be great too. Holy Mother, thank you so much for this day. Thank you for all of the blessings that appear in our lives, including those that we don't see or those who present themselves as problems. And we ask you, Goddess, to just please keep our hearts and minds open today to receive any messages of hope that resonates to us and to disregard any messages that do not fit our intentions or our personal vibration. We just ask that you hold us all in your grace and love as we continue this journey. Blessedly. And then another little something special that I always like to include in Messages of Hope is the Goddess of the Day, just Goddess of the Day. It's from this book, aptly titled 365 Days of Goddess. And this today actually is just kind of like a reminder that in some countries, the Christmas season has not ended. It's continuing. So this is about a Christmas goddess in Italy, of all places. Her name is Befana. And I'm going to read it because I'm not totally up on everything about her, but I know she's Italian. I know she's a crone. I know she's a witch. I know that she's all about Christmas. So Befana's themes are overcoming evil, wisdom. Her symbols are brooms, horns, hag puppets. We'll have to have a conversation about puppets one day. They're pretty powerful tools. About Befana. Befana. Befana is the Italian crone goddess. Call on her for wisdom and guidance through the other 11 months of the year. Because she has lived a long life, her astute insight will serve you well. Today is her festival day in Italy, celebrated with horns, noisemakers, songs, and music. These loud sounds drive out evil and mark the passage of winter's darkness out of the region. To do today. Have any children in your life follow the Italian tradition of leaving Befana a broom to fly on and a gift basket? According to legend, Befana rewards this kindness with little gifts and stockings, much like Santa Claus. Find a kitchen witch in a gift shop and hang it up near the hearth to welcome Befana's wisdom into your home. Or take a broom clockwise around your house, sweeping inwards towards a central spot to gather her beneficent energies. I just want to pause there. In our culture, American culture, typically brooms are used for cleaning, but brooms have a lot of different purposes, and one of them is gathering energy, and that's what this is referring to. So go around your house and sweep towards a center spot, maybe a center of your home, to gather up all of her blessings. If you happen to catch a dust bunny or two, bonus, throw it away. Let's see. To protect your home for the rest of the year, use a kazoo or other noise makers. I like the pots and pans with wooden spoons. Um, and use other noise makers to increase the vibration, to announce to her that she's welcomed and to welcome her. She loves that kind of noise. Go into each room and make a loud racket saying, "All evil fear. Befana is here. Away, away. Only goodness may stay." Isn't that amazing? Evil, fear. Befana is here. Yeah. Away, away. Only goodness may stay. If your schedule allows, make a poppet that looks like an old woman. Fill it with a dried garlic, pearl onions, and any other herbs you associate with safety. Let's see, what would that be? Herbs related to safety. I'm going to say probably sage, parsley, maybe a few others. We'll think about that one. Keep this poppet near the stove or hearth to invoke Befana's ongoing protection. So you're basically making your own kitchen witch when you make this little poppet. And garlic and onions, of course, are typically found in an Italian kitchen. So, of course, you're going to have those in there, okay? So, anyway, that is Befana. I just love her. I do have a kitchen witch hanging up in my kitchen. Um, it's it goes beyond superstition. It's honoring the goddess of the hearth to keep you healthy and to keep your food from burning, keep your pantry well stocked, to inspire your own culinary creativity, Befana. So she is the goddess of the day. And now we're going to move on to our topic of the day. Now, let's see. Oh my gosh. I see that people are here, but nobody has popped in to say anything. And so now I have to wonder, is there something wrong with this chat? Oh, Lordy. I'm going to pop over to the Yes Quest page for just a minute. Or excuse me, the Your Essential Spirit Quest. Hey, you guys, if you are on the video with me and cannot chat, please just shoot me a quick message over to the Your Essential Spirit Quest page so I can look into that. I made sure to check the settings, y'all. I made sure to check the settings when I set this all up, and I checked them again this morning. So if you're here and you can't chat, then I'm going to be disappointed. Anywho's, let's proceed. I don't know why. Mercury is my ruling planet. You would think I would have no problem with communication issues, but it seems I do. Anyway, we'll continue to work on it, and I'll look for your message. Anyway, so we're going to talk about acceptance. So when I was working on this week, I was just going to do acceptance and detachment. And then in the middle of that process of acceptance and detachment came forgiveness. And I was like, well, I have to talk about that too. And then as I'm continuing with the presentation, I realize it has just gotten massive. It is too big to cram into 1 hour. So I'm going to present all three of these concepts in separate video presentations. So we're going to do acceptance today. We'll do forgiveness next Sunday. We'll do detachment the following Sunday. Okay, so you'll see those. I'll have them all scheduled with links and everything. And I think somebody just messaged me. Let me just go look. No, not a message. Oh, okay. So yes, Carrie says that she's there and she's chatting. So I just don't understand. This is so aggravating, you guys. I don't know why. Unable to connect to chat. Please try again. That's a message I just received. Unable. Hang on. Okay, so here's what I'm finding out. Here's what I'm finding out. In order for chat to work, I have to do it in a pop-up box. So I just did that, and now I'm seeing chat remarks. Okay, so I'm happy. Thank you very, very much. Let me say good morning to all you guys. Thank you, Chrissy, for being here. Good morning, Carrie. I'm loving that you ladies are here. Thank you, Carrie, for your message, letting me know that you are chatting. And it really just was a matter of applying another layer of technology. Anywho's, but we're here. So anywho's, we're going to get started. As I was saying, this week we're going to talk about acceptance. Now you would think that this would be the easiest thing. You're like, oh, I'm open to accepting. I'm open to accepting. But let's just really be honest, folks. We're only open, and really willing to accept those things that make us smile. If we're not smiling, we don't want to accept it. And I don't blame you. I mean, come on, that's human nature. That's how we discern whether or not something is working for us or not, is whether or not we're willing to accept it. However, this non-acceptance translates into avenues of our life that actually, thank you, Carrie, that actually prevent us from making positive changes. Let's talk about that. Until you are willing to accept what is, you are powerless to change it. And I'll go further into that, but first let's go to dictionary.com so that we know, so we're all talking the same language and we're talking about the same thing. Let's look at the definition, okay? So acceptance, the act of taking or receiving something offered. Receiving is passive. This is my notes. Receiving is a passive act. You hold out your hand and somebody puts something in it, you've received it. Acceptance is when you've closed your hand around that thing, okay? And you've really accepted it. That's the difference between receiving and accepting. So, so acceptance requires action. For someone, let's see. So definition number 2 is a favorable reception, approval, or favor. So already the dictionary is setting you up for, oh, it has to be favorable and it has to meet my approval, okay? So if it doesn't meet that criteria, then it's not about acceptance, but really it is. The act of assenting or believing, acceptance of a theory, the fact or state of being accepted or acceptable. We are going to go with definition number 1 and 2, all right, about taking or receiving and that it has to be a favorable reception. Not true. So I want you to just sit back in your seat, take a deep breath, let it out, and just let your thoughts kind of settle into your body a little bit. Go back to your regular breathing. However, be aware of that breath. With every in-breath, let it land in your heart space and kind of swirl around a little bit. And as you exhale, it just gently leaves again. Your breath is a cycle of going to your heart space and then exiting again. And with each exhalation, allow your body to just kind of sink deeper into your seat and feel at peace and centered in this moment. And this is an important little beginning step because we're going to be talking about some potentially painful stuff, okay? And we're going to be talking about some stuff that may trigger feelings, some sticky feelings of where you don't want to accept something, accept the truth of something. So just allow yourself to kind of be gentle with yourself this morning and be open to discovering how you can accept that you do not want to accept, okay? Now, when you get to that place of calmness within yourself, I just want you to think about a memory of a situation that's going on with you right now or from the past that you haven't been able to, release and let go of. And just think about that moment, or think about that situation, and just be with it for just a moment. How does that make you feel in that moment, in that situation that you just cannot accept? Do you feel threatened by that situation, frustrated by it, hurt, like personally hurt by it? Just think about it for a moment. What does that situation that you absolutely cannot accept, how does that make you feel? Now, where does that feeling land in your body? And the reason why I ask this is because it will alert you to what chakra is being triggered. Okay? What chakra is being triggered by this situation that you simply can't accept? Now, let those thoughts and feelings go for just a little bit. We're going to come back to them and do some work on them, okay? But I just want you to be able to identify where you are in your acceptance of something that you just don't want. You just don't want it. And who can blame you? However, you can't change that situation unless you accept it. So we're going to work on that later, but let's talk more about acceptance, okay? So much like when we're asked to forgive something unpleasant and kind of tense up a little bit, when we're asked to accept something unpleasant, it's the same exact reaction. Our body literally, well, I don't know about yours, but my body doesn't get all relaxed and loosey-goosey when I'm trying to accept something that I don't want. Instead, it kind of seizes up a little bit. I get all frantic. My mind starts whirling. I'm a Virgo, so we're going to go right to the analysis of the whole situation. But we don't stop there. Then we have to analyze the analysis, and we have to, it's just this constant hamster wheel cycle of thoughts and feelings and thoughts and feelings and thoughts and feelings on something that we don't want. But what if we accepted it? Boom. What if we said, you know what? This is real. This is really happening. Okay? There's nothing to think about because there it is. It is there. So, I'm getting ahead of myself just a minute. I do want to just point out that until you accept the truth of something, there's no way that you can forgive it. So if you are struggling to forgive something, it's probably because you haven't accepted the truth of it. You're resisting it. And we'll talk more about how to break through that resistance. But let's give some examples of some sticky situations that we can't accept But once we do, we can change, okay? For instance, you can accept that you're, okay, I'm getting ahead of myself. This is why I wrote notes, but I'm failing to read them. Just a second. Just like with forgiveness, when we go to forgive somebody and we struggle with it, it could be because we think that we're agreeing with them or assenting to the behavior. We're condoning, we're condoning it. We are saying, okay, well, all right, I don't agree with it, but I can't forgive it. I can't accept it. And so you're stuck in that moment. It's because we equate acceptance with agreement. However, just like with forgiveness, agreement doesn't have anything to do with it. You don't forgive somebody because of them. You forgive them because of yourself. The same thing applies with acceptance. You accept a situation so that you can change it or celebrate it, not agree to it. You don't have to agree to it just because you're accepting it. Case in point, you can accept the fact that you have a friend who's being a jerk without agreeing that it's okay to be a jerk. You can look at this friend and say, you're being a jerk. You've just accepted the fact that they're being a jerk, but you're not in agreement with it. The agreement doesn't have to anything to do with it. You're just accepting it as fact, okay? The same applies for anything icky in your feeling. If you cannot get to that place of acceptance, you cannot change the situation. So let's go back to the jerky friend. You can't change the friend. You can't change that person. They have free will. They can be a jerk if they want to, but you can change your own situation so that you can decide whether or not to make better friends, put some distance between you and this friend. There's all kinds of options out there. Try to teach your friend a better way, but don't have any expectations around that because your friend gets to be the jerk if they want to be the jerk. You have to get to the place of acceptance so that you can change it. Change your situation. This is all about self-care, about self-empowerment, about making your own decisions on how you want to live your life. And you have to accept the life you have in order to change it. I know I keep repeating myself, but I just don't know how else to put that in words. Let me think about it for a minute. Say like you have a crappy job. You go to work, you're miserable every day. You complain about it every day. You're mad about it every day. But until you accept the fact that this job doesn't jive with you, you can't change it. You're just going to go to work every day unhappy as heck. What else? God forbid you say like you suspect something, you find out that it's true, but for the next few days, you just keep telling yourself, I can't believe it. I just can't believe it. I can't believe that happened. I can't believe they did that to me. I just can't believe it. I can't believe it. You aren't going to be able to make any amazing positive changes in that situation until you stop saying, I can't believe it, and instead say, this happened. This really did happen. And now I have to work with it. Now I have to decide what to do. That's the power of acceptance. When you get to that place of just, okay, yes, I'm there. I do believe it. I do believe this happened. Now you can change it. Now you can make it better. Now you can decide what to do with it. Does that make sense to anybody? Let me know. Am I gibbering? Is any of this coming through as a clear message of hope about how we're going to get to the how, but about the importance of getting to that point of acceptance, of accepting the truth of something, of accepting that something really is happening. Now you're going to sit there and say, yes, but how do we know for sure, for sure, for sure? That's where your intuition comes into play. If you cannot come up with facts, like proof, like in front of your eyes, facts, then you're going to have to go to divination. You're going to have to intuit the truth. And it's with practice that you start learning to trust your intuition, and that it will never lead you wrong, and that you can always get to a place of acceptance. If you're in on this video and you've had a session with me and we have done some work through tarot, for instance, okay, at some point in the conversation, you have said to me, I get it. I know what to do. That's acceptance. That is a moment of acceptance where you're like, I get it. It's real for now. I've accepted it. Again, it doesn't have to be about agreement. You don't have to say, okay, I've accepted that I have a crappy job, and now I'm going to agree to stay in my crappy job. No. You're going to accept that you have a crappy job, and you're going to make some positive changes, whether it's to go to your supervisor and have some suggestions to make your job better, or find a better job. There's always, always remedies and ways of flipping the switch and making things happen in a more positive and life-affirming kind of a way. But we can't get there if we keep denying it, if we keep denying the truth of it. Acceptance is all about that first step in making positive change. And you know what you're stuck with, that situation. You can identify it. You know that you haven't fully accepted it, and we're going to move on to how we can accept things. Okay. Thank you, Carrie. I'm glad that's making sense. I'm glad that's making sense, because sometimes I ramble. It's early in the morning for me, and I'm just working on my first cup of tea. All right, so now that you understand that in order to make positive changes in a sticky, icky situation, you have to first admit and accept that it's sticky and icky, and it's very, very painful. You have to accept it. Don't say, I can't believe it. Anytime that you're going around saying, oh God, I can't believe it, I just can't believe that happened, I want you to just stop yourself in that moment and go, I'm resisting. I'm resisting this opportunity for positive change because I can't accept how painful it is. So just stop yourself, okay? And just 180. Just say, I'm going to accept it. And I do believe it. I believe it. And from that point on, you can make some positive changes. It all starts from your heart space. That's why I took you there at the beginning of this presentation. It all starts there, okay? So when you say that you're accepting something, you can immediately move into a place of forgiveness. And we're going to talk about forgiveness next week, because I'm sure I've kind of gone over my, oh no, we still have a little bit of time. Okay, so I want you to just, again, sit back, take yourself back to that situation that you first thought of earlier in this conversation. And I want you to bring it to your mind again. In as great a detail as you can. Who said what? Who did what? When did it happen? Where were you? What were you thinking? Are you still telling yourself you just can't believe he, she, they did that? Take yourself to that moment. And then I want you to just take that vision Inhale it and place it in your heart space. Just place it in your heart space. You're not embodying it. You're not condoning it or agreeing to it. You are placing it in your heart space so that you can surround it with love and accept it. When you surround a painful situation with the vibration of love, it makes it easier to accept. It's like you've put a little Band-Aid on it. You've made it less painful. And now it's easier to say, okay, I get it. I get that this really did happen. And I get that it really did hurt me. And I get that I don't have to live with this pain anymore. I can accept it, forgive it, and release it. Just sit with this acceptance of that situation and allow it to just be. It just is. It is what it is. I'm sure you've heard it a million times. It is what it is. It is very true. It is what it is. If you were on the Messages of Hope video last week, we talked about judgment. We talked about judgment a little bit, and this is another block to accepting something, is that we're judging it so harshly that there's just no way. It's such disharmony with our loving vibration that it makes it impossible to accept it. That's why you put the whole thing in your heart space. Breathe love and light into it so that you can accept it and change it. Accept it and change it. All right? That's what acceptance is all about. Looking at my notes, just a moment. I'm just going to read this entire little paragraph just to reiterate something I said earlier. This is the power of acceptance. Once you accepted the truth of something, you can celebrate it or change it. I mean, if it's something that you absolutely love and is easy for you to accept, well, honey, you're going to have to celebrate that and be grateful for it so that you can get some more of it. If it's stuff that you don't want, then you can change it, but you still have to accept it. It's all about the choice you make, but you can't make a choice if you haven't accepted that you have one to make. See, that's the tricky part. You can't make a choice unless you accept the fact that you have one to make. If you sit there and say you don't believe it, you don't see that you have a choice to make in the situation. But the moment you accept it, all kinds of choices will pop up in your head. All kinds of opportunities for positive change will appear in your life. But you have to get there. So do you have any comments or questions about acceptance, about accepting those icky, sticky situations and how it feels to put it in your heart? Let's just take a moment to do that, to breathe in and just see where it lands. See it. If it landed in your like your belly, your personal will area before, how does it feel now that you're willing to accept it? Where does it land now? Does it change how your body feels, how you feel? Is it less painful for you? Comment tell me something. Tell me what's going on for you when you put that icky sticky in your heart and shine some love on it. Ah, your throat. Your throat. That Your throat is all about speaking your truth, but it's also about creation. Because what we speak, we create. So when you, like you can't swallow it, boom, sister, boom. So Chrissy, tell me this, when you shine light and love on it, in that heart space, does that feeling in your throat go away? So for you, Carrie, I'm going to ask that you take a deep breath in, honey. Just take a deep breath in. And as you move that breath through your heart space, release the situation. Release the situation. Okay? It's you got some additional work to do on that. You're not ready to accept it yet. There's something else going on here. And that's something else that we need to talk about. Because when you are vibrating pain, sorrow, frustration, confusion for any amount of time, like an extended period of time, if you're not instantly working through it and you're hanging on to it, that becomes an energetic signature that is now in your subtle energy bodies. Okay, so it's gonna take like energy work to get rid of it. Get that energy out of your subtle energy bodies so that you could take an in breath in and feel relieved and able to work on it from a point of clarity. Because it's back to that hamster wheel thing, is like spinning our wheels when we're trying to release something or work through something or accept something, forgive something, but it's so painful that now it's become stuck in our subtle energy bodies and it needs to be cleared out. It needs to be cleared out before we can move on, okay? So think about that. If you have put your icky sticky situation in your heart and you're shining love and light on it and it's still unbearably painful, then you need to do some additional work on it so that you can really, really make some positive changes. You cannot break through that to a place of forgiveness and detachment until you accept it, until you accept it. And I think also too, that I want you guys to work on your definition of acceptance, that it's not condoning the behavior, that it's not an agreement to the behavior or to the situation. Let us be clear. All it is accepting the truth of it. It's being, it's acceptance. It's acceptance. And it takes action. It takes you consciously saying, yes, that happened. And it sucks. And I need to do some work with this. Can't do any healing kind of work until you get to acceptance. I posted a meme earlier today about, happiness. You can't have happiness until you have acceptance. You cannot have that peace of mind, that confidence that you're moving in the right direction until you have accepted all of the icky sticky parts. Remember, these are lessons that turn into blessings, okay? But we have to go through the work. We can't just hold it in our body and in our energy signature and think that it's just gonna go away. It doesn't happen like that, as you well know. It's living in your heart space, or in your case, Chrissy, your throat. Oh, sweetie, yes. Let those tears flow. Do not be embarrassed or ashamed to cry through your pain. It's time. It's all part of the process. When we have accepted something, And we go, yeah, that did happen and it sucks. Of course, it's going to be tears. It's going to be tears, but don't stay there. Don't stay in that moment. Let those tears wash through you and release some of that pent up energy that is still stuck in your subtle energy bodies, but most time in our physical bodies too, because really what happens out here energetically will eventually sink into our physical form and cause all kinds of problems, diseases, mental health issues, all kinds of things. Acceptance, forgiveness, and detachment is a process. And it doesn't have to take weeks. It doesn't have to take months and years. It can be done very, very quickly. But it's a practice that you must actually go through, a process that you actually have to go through and practice. Yes, more work, Carrie. More work. And I wish I could say, listen, it's nothing, it's a snap. Just say you accept it and everything is done. That's just the first step. That's just the first step in the healing process of all of the stuff that we do not want, the things that we're resisting, the things that we are like ignoring. Some of us, oh girl, I used to really be a pro at this. I'll just ignore it. Don't see it. If I don't see it, it's not there. I'll ignore it. It's still affecting me. It's still affecting me on all kinds of levels. And we like to blame it on other things, you know? That's why people self-medicate, because they're not willing to accept all the crap that has happened to them so that they can then heal it. It's like, okay, let's just take it right down to the very nitty-gritty of it. Say like you have a cut on your finger. You got big old cut on your finger. You're cutting up veggies in your kitchen. You cut your finger. Well, if you don't accept the fact that you cut your finger, how are you going to put the Band-Aid on it? How are you going to clear up the blood from your kitchen counter? How are you going to heal that? Get some stitches maybe. That is acceptance. It comes down to that. You can't fix something unless you've accepted it. Oh, Chrissy. Oh, Chrissy. That's a conversation. That is a conversation, honey. Yes, yes. The grand setup. Yeah, that is a conversation. But there is remedies for that too. Believe it or not, there's remedies for that too. So yeah, if you want to talk more about that, we can certainly do some hands-on work, energy work around that. So let me know. Me too, Carrie. Me too. Me too. I don't know what you mean by that, but okay. I'm glad you're in agreement with it. Do you guys have any other questions about acceptance or have anything else to say about it? It's a sticky, sticky conversation. We don't want to accept that. We don't want to. That's the human in us. That's the ego in us. Ego protects us from pain. So ego is like, oh, girl, you don't have to look at that. Spirit's like, look at it. Look at it and accept it so we can get to work. You see? It's working you. It's working you. Don't let your judgment and all of that kind of stuff just kind of make all your pain somebody else's problem. Because you can bet that if there's individuals involved in that situation that you can't accept, they're not hurting. You're the one that's suffering from it. Make some positive changes. But in order to do so, you have to accept the pain, that it really does exist. Don't ignore it anymore. Don't ignore it anymore. And if you guys need some work, some energy work around that, let me know. I will help you out, okay? In the meantime, though, if there are no other questions or comments, we're going to move on to the cards. Today, we are working with The Sacred Travelers Oracle Cards by Denise Lynn. She's one of my favorite Oracle card authors, one of my favorites. So, yeah, I think that she can really deliver some messages today on this topic, on what can help you get to the point of acceptance. And again, I would just say that if you continue to struggle with this, I want you to see a trusted energy worker. Have them go into your subtle energy bodies and to clear it all out. Get rid of all of that sticky ickiness in there so that then you can see the situation from a clearer perspective. It's no longer affecting you so much. So now it's easier for you to accept and put into that heart space so that you can start the process of forgiving and detaching. So if anybody would like a card this morning from the Sacred Travelers Oracle deck, please do holler in the comment field and I will pull one for you. If you're watching this video after we stop going live, unfortunately, I will not be able to pull a card for you. But I'm here every Sunday morning and I always offer cards. Oh, Chrissy, I'm glad. I'm glad. You know what? You might want to talk to them specifically about the thing that's hard for you to accept and ask them to really specifically work on that. Look for that and to really work on it. So they don't just give you a general overall, clearing. That's always good, but really make sure that they've pinpointed that specific situation. Awesome. And this card is for you, Chrissy. Let me know if you want one too, Karen. Journey by Moonlight. Believe in magic. Now, you might want to think, well, moonlight, how come specifically moonlight? It's because the moon is all about your intuition and your emotions. So when you think about journeying through this process of accepting something that you don't want, just kind of look at your intuition and come from a place of your feelings. Well, how do you feel? Let your feelings be the gauge of whether or not you've gotten to that place of acceptance, okay? And then use your intuition to guide you on how to start the healing process for yourself. I hope you're here next week for the forgiveness part, because that's step 2. That is step 2. After acceptance, what do? You forgive. And oh my goodness, talk about being resistant for accepting things. When it comes to forgiveness, we are very resistant as human beings. We are like, excuse me, I will not forgive that. But hey, again, forgiveness is not for the other person. It's for you. It's just for you. Okay? It's for your healing process, not theirs. They don't care if you forgive them or not. All right? So it's for you. All right, Carrie, this is for you. Travel lightly. Simplify your life. Oh, honey. I'm talking to 2 of the busiest women on the face of the planet right here on YouTube. And I know, Carrie, that you got a lot on your plate. I know you do, okay? How can you simplify your life? What can you take off your plate? And also, I'm just being asked to talk to you about your bagua, about your feng shui, all right? Where can you simplify in your bagua to reflect simplification in your life? Is your career corner of your bagua all cluttered up and and dull and lifeless? Is your home and family corner not vibrant and colorful and lively? Yeah, look at how you can simplify your life by simplifying areas of your home. Make some changes there. All right, you guys, I think we are coming up on, oh, we've got about 5 or 6 more minutes on this video. If you have any questions about our topic, about the goddess Bafana, about your card that I pulled for you, please, this would be the time for us to talk about it. So just go ahead and jot it in the comments below. Again, I can't tell you how happy that I am you guys are here. I do want to remind you I'm doing a second broadcast this morning at 10 o'clock Pacific Standard Time. This time is about what do I do when grounding doesn't work? When I ground myself and my energy is still all over the place and affecting other people and I'm being affected by other people, what can I do? What other things can I do? I'm going to have a whole bunch of suggestions for you guys, and we're going to talk about that, and that happens at 10 o'clock. And and I will be posting the notes from this acceptance thing here that we just did. I'm going to put the notes in the description of the video so that you guys will always have something to refer back to. And the same applies for my second broadcast, and when that video is done, I'll also post the notes that I wrote for that too, so that you'll have that to refer to. So I hope I see you at 10 o'clock. And if I don't, I will be here again next Sunday for another episode of Messages of Hope, where we talk about forgiveness, step 2 in the Wheel of Healing. The Wheel of Healing. I tried to attach a document to this video so that you can see that it is a cycle, a real cycle of being. And we kind of live in this cycle, but we tend to skip steps. And then when we do, the wheel's broken. They won't move. So we have to really make the effort to clear up some of these icky, sticky situations in our life. And we don't have to go fix them in the physical world. We have to heal them within ourselves. We have to do the work on us. And then everything else unfolds around us in our physical life. So I hope all of that was very, very helpful. You're very welcome, Carrie. I'm so glad I was helpful for you. It's my only purpose in life is to help people just maintain the vibration of hope in their life so that they can continue to grow, expand, and manifest their dreams. So I thank you both for being here. And if you want to invite others next week, that would be lovely as well. But if not, I'm always glad to see your smiling faces. Okay, you guys, will have a fabulous day. You're very welcome, Chrissy. Very welcome. I'm glad that you're moving forward with your energy work. It's so vital to our overall health and well-being. So I'm happy for you, honey. So thank you again, you ladies, and I hope you have a fabulous day out there. Bye-bye.